Alrighty.
I will suffocate you in your sleep if you ban Houston.
We'll see about that.
You better stop!
You better stop! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Jaraci Cup 8. Quick reminder to ban Houston. And we're back with the group stage. Casting... What group is this? Group E here. These are some games that were recommended to me to cast. Gonna be between SickIGN here and letsrock. SickIGN, of course, we had seen before, but he's been playing much better this tournament from what I've seen so far. And letsrock, of course, you probably know him from RM, but obviously we have seen a couple games from him, I think, in JC5, but not 6 and 7, if I remember correctly. No, I think he was in 6 too. But anyway, it'll be interesting to see what he plays. He's going Con F here. It looks like this was his pick first, and then SickIGN picked, what is this, Coalition? And then letsrock gonna pick Kalash Teeth. Generally relies really heavily on Sandskipper, so we'll be interested to see what he does in this match here. SickIGN, of course, we cast some games of his against Kalash Mao, and he seemed to do really competently. He was able to hold off a rail rush from him with a really nice capitalization on a bad trade that Kalash Mao had taken. So I'll be interested to see what he does in this game, but it looks like it's gonna be actually 8-up. Wow, vanilla style. We don't really see 8-up anymore. Of course, if you forget, back in vanilla, this was the most economy-focused build that Coalition could do. These days, I'm not even really sure how far ahead it gets you in terms of economy, but it can definitely be punished. So, a little bit risky for him, but it looks like he's going to get away with it. It seems that letsrock is going to go for ref mode himself. Probably. No, he's already got skimmer tech. Oh, it's going to be soul chips. Okay. So he'll probably move this PC out across the field. Then he has the base runner, of course. Didn't retire this, so he's also got ideas of blast drones if he wants to, but so far, being really passive here, waiting at home. I'm worried he's going to click on ref mode, and then I'll have to make fun of him or something. Again, I've said it before, don't ever do that, right? If you're going to get ref mode first, just actually get it first. Don't get tech before it. So, LEV Fab coming out for SickIGN. He'll probably throw a probe in just a moment here then. Because, of course, his build is very greed here, so he needs to be quite careful that he's not going to, die to some kind of a rush here. So I think probe would be in order. Not going to throw it out yet, though. Isn't that funny, A-Game, that now you have to, convince people that Galzian's not weak? Because, I swear, just whatever faction that A-Game doesn't play currently, people just complain is weak. And eventually, maybe they'll figure out that's because A-Game always wins, but I don't know. Assault Pack actually coming out really early here from SickIGN, same as we saw from Moose, so he's going to forgo the upgrade, or the production upgrade for now. Going for that Assault Pack instead. Gonna see this skimmer here, he gets just a little bit of damage on him. That will allow this LAV to trade against him if SickIGN doesn't micro this pretty well. He wants to get behind the dune and then pop over once the LAV pushes. Or he can just run away, of course this is totally valid as well. SickIGN gonna go for base runner extraction here actually. I'm usually not a huge fan of this because obviously it could be punished. And it looks like letsrock has some interest in doing that, but he may not be able to because I think that this LAV is gonna win against the I think this LAV is going to win against the skim. Well, what he could do is bring this skimmer over here. It looks like SickIGN actually going to back away from this. He will get this out, though, of course. We could see a turret drop here, actually, I suppose. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll say it again. Please don't do this in the future. Obviously, it's not good to go for tech and then go for ref mode, right? You want to do one or the other, right? If you're going to go for tech, you want to pressure your opponent. If you're going to go for ref mode, you want to get it fast, and then defend, so. Yeah, unfortunate to see, of course, but that is how it is. Both players getting an extraction out, though. That's going to feel nice for both of them. And ref mode will be done in a couple seconds. But this is letsrock fairly far behind, actually, on Eco. He does have the tech advantage, though. Kills off one LAV right there. But it's going to be the production upgrade from SickIGN, so he doesn't seem to feel that he really needs a tech choice to answer it. Whoa. Yeah, see, this is why I would get the production upgrade a bit earlier. If you can queue up that many units and still have 1,000 CUs, you clearly have too much of a float here. The thing is, he's got the money that he could go into any of these, so I would love to see him get some kind of a tech choice here, but turret actually going to get set down by him as well on the main base, so he really doesn't want to get pushed here. But again, I mean, a tech could do this for you as well, and fighter and gunship is never really a bad call, I don't think. Well, maybe against the soul chips he might not want to. But AV is also never a bad call at railguns if he really feels like he's going to get pressured by these assault chips. Might be nice to have, so he's got the money. He should definitely go into some kind of attack here. Damage 1 coming out for the LAVs, that's kind of nice. Okay, there we go. Railfab is going to get started here. Could have been earlier, but he is going to get it at least, so. He wanted tips on his game, so I'm not cyberbullying him. I'm just teaching him the ways.
Yeah, my tip is buy more support cruisers.
No! Yeah, well, Phoenix Seal would like to hear that, but... Another thing he can do once he catches these assault ships, once he sees them, he can throw a probe out of this base burner. So that they can't get away from the vision on this turret post here. Support cruiser can also focus like healing that turret. letsrock may not be able to kill this actually. Oh boy. Yeah, he does manage to kill it, but the support cruiser will finish off the assault ships. So seems that's going to be a requisite defense here. But there are more assault ships coming in.
So you're saying the support cruiser finished off?
Hey, I didn't say that. LAV's gonna jump up on the space runner. I'm always a little nervous when I see that because there might be a blast drone coming out, but it looks like there's not. In this case, he's gonna get away with it. But he's gonna get pressured on the main base now, so the carrier gonna start driving on back in, and he probably ought to go for railguns in that case. But these assault ships are focusing on the base runner though. And they really ought to be trying to hit the salvagers here. This is a golden opportunity to do some eco damage, but yeah, just hitting the space runner is not what you want to do. I mean, the support cruiser on its own eventually going to kill off one of these assault ships here. And now the LAVs come in and clean it up, and the base runner doesn't even die, so he didn't really get anything for that. Oof. That's a yike. But I will not have it said. Okay. You know, he could have killed off probably like 4 salvagers or more there, so that was definitely a throw there from letsrock, who could have just gotten very far ahead. But now he's going to do this thing, which is very, very classic letsrock. I don't exactly understand why he does it, but he's got another PC now, but he's not going to expand to a third base. He's instead going to move his carrier halfway between them where it doesn't really do anything and just kind of wait here. Really not a fan of this. I've seen him do it many, many times, so I know exactly what he's doing here. He just, for some reason, won't saturate that third base. Not really what you want to see. But he is spending his money much better than his opponent here, so that is something that he's got going for him. SickIGN probably could build another support cruiser now. Not for defense, but for expanding onto this base here. But I'd love to see him get a couple of railguns too.
No, it's okay, you don't need support cruisers, because we all know that God Hates Weebs has the God tier strategy.
Yeah, right, just get bombers. That's all you need. Hey, support cruisers, yes. Maybe you should just get one though, and then like get a couple railguns to defend here, but... In fact, he's gonna trade in now on these 2 assault ships. They've got armor too, and he's got damage too as well, but... Well, wow, this is a lot of LAV. Maybe they're able to make this trade effectively. Yikes. Yeah, I did see that A-game. Hashtag unbiased moderating. Armor 3 coming out now for letsrock, so it definitely wants to...
Justice for God Hates Weebs.
Justice for my boy Andre. So letsrock gonna start taking into armored unit defenses 3 now. And SickIGN taking into LAV armor 2. The thing is, you really do need to mass up assault ships to deal with this number of LAVs here, right? But having another tech as well could be very helpful, and having sand skimmers that can also trade in when the assault ships are fighting is kind of nice also. But I think for letsrock, like, the obvious tech that I'm thinking here is Con of Siege, because Con of Siege just almost will never be killed by LAVs. It's very, very hard to kill Con of Siege with LAVs. And it counters them super hard, and it can be kind of a nice, you know, anti-capital unit. So, like, if the carrier does choose to push out here, he'll have the Con of Siege, obviously. Oh my gosh, this is going to be a massacre, though. Really doesn't want to take this trade. Oh dear. Yeah, okay, he's going to see it now. He'll back away, but that's the thing. When assault ships get massed up like that, you really don't want to trade into them. He loses, like, 7 or 8 LAVs there for nothing. Does get the artifact out. It's going to drop down a turret, but like the AoE is going to kill it before it even has a chance to like render on the map there, and down it goes. So, bit of a wasted expenditure into that turret there. Railgun's going to come over here to try to defend, but the assault ships are close, and they are faster, I think. 72 versus 70, yeah, so he should be able to get damage on the eco here if he wants to. And yes, he does have armor 3 on these assault ships. Starting to fill out a third base now is letsrock, but again, the carrier could be there, so I'd like to see that, but and the other thing I like to see, though, is Con of Siege. I really think it'd be good here. Either that, or he could go for Interceptor Fab, but hey, look at it. Interceptor Fab. But Con of Siege would be really, really nice, especially on this map. Like, the assault ships took more damage than you expected? Okay, armor break is on this one, though, so the LVs can boost in if they want, but again, it's a real massacre if the assault ships choose to focus them. 2 salvagers go down already. Soul Chip's gonna do their best to chunk out these LEVs. Bit of nice micro there, pulls the wounded one away, so obviously if they want to finish that kill, the AoE is not gonna be hitting the rest of them. But you can see he's still trading quite nicely here. Manages to kill a lot more of those LEVs despite getting hit by railguns at the same time. Kills off a couple salvagers too, does some eco damage. And SickIGN taking into AV Fab now, not exactly sure what for. It might be Assault Cruiser actually. I'd kind of like to see that. But again, look how many units he's queued up here. I'd love to see him go into that carrier production upgrade. Actually, maybe he's just going into it to get the heavy vehicle armor upgrades, which would be kind of nice too. Yeah, that's what Moose is thinking. But he's got to be really careful he doesn't, you know, lose these LEVs just trying to trade in against these Soul Chips, because you can fight them, right? But at this point, when he has this many and armor 3, it's not going to be cost effective, so you really need to be careful trading in against those units. letsrock, meanwhile, building some air. Would be really nice if he was on 3 base. I'm just going to say it one more time here, but I really like when new players actually use 3 bases, yeah. Yeah, you're totally right. Fleet cap 85 coming out now for letsrock. Is he actually at fleet capacity? He might be, but like SickIGN's already at like 95. He definitely has more units on the field, but these railguns could be quite scary. These Assault Chips have a bit of a window to get in though, and if he notices that like, oh look, rails are here, I would totally move in with these Assault Chips and see if he can get something done. Yeah, it looks like that is going to be his call as well. And he's not even going to lose any, because look, the hill here blocks them. If the LEVs come back to defend, now there's interceptors out. They're just kind of driving around getting shot for now. Okay, here we go. They're going to start focusing down these railguns. This is what strike fighters can do best, or interceptors that is, but he just needs to be careful he doesn't lose any here. He's actually going to dock both of them. One of them could have stayed out there. LEV's going to boost in now on the Assault Chips. We've seen this before, but this time there's not as many of them, and there are a lot of LEVs, so it looks like they'll be able to trade kind of okay here. Okay, so they do manage to clean that up, but they do take some losses. Whoa. That's a lot of Assault Chip. They're actually pretty much on top of these rails, but I'm worried here. This could be a very bad trade for him, because these guys obviously have the range advantage. No! Interceptor's gonna come in here to trade out as well, trying to hit the guys on the back line. I like that. Why is he prioritizing the base runners though? You really want to prioritize these railguns. One of the interceptors gonna go down actually as well. Oh no, yeah, he's kind of fibbed this trade here. Base runner really getting a lot of kills as well. Oh, did they auto prioritize base runners? I didn't know that. Well, that would explain that. Ends up trading really, really poorly there. And again, like, Con of Siege would be so good right now. He is on 3 base finally, so that's nice for him. But if he had like some siege cruisers, right, instead of the interceptors to like barrage here, and then also hold the LAVs off of the backline, yeah, he would have been really, really well off here. Well, they must have actually a game, because they came in and killed this one first, and then they changed focus onto this base burner after they killed this one. So. Missile battery fab, by the way, coming out for SickIGN, so he doesn't want to get killed by these area units, obviously. There we go, we do have Con of Siege on the queue now, finally. But Heavy Vehicles 3 coming out now. And again, like, if you're up against Siege, what you really want on your railguns is armor, because then it makes them a little bit more durable against the barrage. This is a very vanilla style play here as well, by the way. Going for, I mean, actually, like, often Garmulator wouldn't go AV Tech to get the upgrades if he was against Galzian, but, you know, LEV spam into rail spam into carrier power, that's definitely how the game was always played as Coalition back in vanilla. But letsrock just not really quite able to get anything done against this army here, and at this point it's really beefy. I don't know what he's going to really be able to do about this. To be fair, this is kind of nice terrain for him, where the railguns would have to kind of pop over this hill, and he does have a lot of time where he can fire missiles out onto the blob there. First missile going to come out, but it's actually a bit of a miss. But he's got a lot of time here, I think, to like fire missiles. Should really power that system up. Obviously just increases the range a little bit. Just managed to pick off one railgun there, it's very nice. Yeah, mobility support is kind of insane, it's true. In this case though, definitely wants to have the power in the missile system there. And teching a bit of power so that he can get more of that in the missile system would be nice too, but I don't know what his money is like. Uh-oh, I don't know. Well, I see. He's trying to stop the space runner, but He really can't lose these assault chips, and he's going to if he leaves them here. This is so many railguns. Fully upgraded railguns here, just chonking these assault chips. Ooh. A lot of damage onto those guys. And actually, he can hit the carrier here. This is kind of an interesting angle. Just because that carrier is so tall, right? LAVs here also trading in a little bit suspect. They're going to take a bit of damage this way, but that Coalition carrier pushes over the hill. And this is a lot of freaking railguns. Wow, that's actually quite a lot of interceptors too. I didn't quite notice that. Actually, Support Cruiser Anti-Air is done here. That's kind of an interesting call. I think this is the use case for Support Cruiser Anti-Air actually, because obviously you're going to have them in the front line with the carrier. He got missile battery tech, but he never actually built any, which is a little funny. That kind of carrier is going to go down. Never actually built a siege cruiser. And that's going to be the game for letsrock there. It feels like... Or, sorry, for SickIGN. I'm so good at casting. It feels like letsrock actually had a lot of windows where he could have gotten some serious damage done, but he just never managed to really convert it properly. Oh well, we'll move on to game 2 here now. This is going to be SickIGN's pick. He also picks faction first. Is there a faction flip-up? No, it's going to be Coalition versus Conf once again. And the Boneyard going to be his map pick. Le Boneyard. A classic. Staple of DOK play from the beginning of time. Looks like SickIGN here going to get kind of that spawn that he wouldn't really like to have, but it is, of course, what he's got to play here. Of course, if you didn't know, the reason why we don't like this spawn as much is because, first off, very susceptible to rail rush from the Conf player if he wants to go for it. And second, obviously this third base here is very exposed, whereas the third base for letsrock here is going to be a little bit better because it's got the line of sight blockers around it. But it's a minor advantage. I mean, I wouldn't say, you know, it makes or breaks the game for players. Makan says he really likes this map.
Wow, it's there's definitely a lot of sand.
Oh yeah.
Coarse, rough, and irritating. It gets everywhere.
Gets everywhere, all up in the machinery here. Oh, imagine being the guy whose job it is to clean the sand out of the freaking rails that this piece of machinery has to move around on. Not fun. Not fun. Looks like it's gonna be SC first once again for SickIGN here, and we do have Sandscreamer Fab coming out for letsrock into again Assault Ship Fab very quick. But the PC is staying at home. I'm a little bit worried he's gonna do it again. Oh well, he seems to have this timed quite nicely. Did you notice Sandscreamer Fab finished and immediately he went up to Assault Ship Tech? So maybe I should have analyzed what his build order here was, because this is one that gets the Assault Ships out a little bit later than they would have otherwise, but his eco is gonna be stronger than it would be going for a straight Assault Ship rush. So letsrock here with the base runner moving out across the midfield as well. Probably wants to be going for some of these artifacts, but he may go for a bit of blast drone cheese as well. I always like to see it if people are kind of aware of their opponent's build here. Of course, this is 8-up once again from SickIGN, so there is a chance for blast drones to come in and kind of get some harassment done. Also, once again, he's moved this base runner very far out across the field here, where I think it's probably best he just leaves it back at home for the defense if he needs it. But I'm worried once again that letsrock is just going to go for ref mode here, and he's going to get away with this. He's got the money for it now. Yeah, he may well click on that in just a moment. Yep, ref mode. Yeah. Oh well.
Well,
base runner going to pick up the artifact here on the back side.
That's what this casting is for, to give them advice, right?
That's true, that's true. And you know my advice. Don't do this. If you're going to go for tech first, pressure your opponent. If you're going to go for eco, get it first, right? Don't get tech instead. But, I think maybe, like I said, letsrock is an RM player, and you can see he does a lot of, remastered types of things, where he leaves his, you could call this the flagship, I guess, kind of, in between the two bases, right? He goes for, eco after getting some tech in case he needs to defend, right? These are things that you can do in remastered, and I think are actually pretty good, from what I understand. Not a huge remastered player myself, so it's a little hard for me to say, but this kind of stuff doesn't really work in DOK. You've really, if you go middle of the road like that, you're gonna get punished for it, so. And SickIGN clearly showing that he knows how to punish this sort of stuff as well. I'd like to see him be a little bit sharper about like his tech choices and such, but you know, he won the last game off of this, and he's actually maybe even gonna delay this artifact. No, it looks like it will get out. LEV's here gonna trade well against the skim though. He may lose one. The boost to try and get away, but he wasn't able to, so that's unfortunate. He does lose one LEV then, but getting that artifact out is nice, but he will probably lose the base burner if he chooses to push. But no, he's going to back away with these LEVs. So it looks like this Conf base burner is going to survive. Of course, they do have the healing now as well, so he's going to be back up at full health. Production upgrade coming out for SickIGN. This is kind of a mirror of the last game. And again, he's automatically ahead here because he got his second base set up a lot faster. But this time, what I want to see him do is get some kind of a tech choice faster, and he does it. Yes, yes,
yes, yes.
Because obviously he was floating quite a bit there. Railfab has started. That's very, very good to see. Warms my heart, I'll tell you that. This discussion about Sport Cruiser anti-air is still going on. I mean, the real problem in my mind is just look how expensive it is, right? Like, when would you ever go for this if it has that kind of an impact? Like, if it was cheaper, I think it would be good, but you'd still need missile batteries, and that's kind of... In my mind, that would kind of solve it. I was talking about this with Moose at some point, though, and he was saying he thought definitely, like, it needed to have some kind of a different appeal than missile batteries do currently. By the way, LEV's once again going to boost into these assault chips here. They will get the kills here. Trades 2 of his LEVs for one of these assault chips. Going to go back in, but... I just don't know, like, obviously, letsrock didn't have any armor, and if he did, he might have lost a lot more on that trade. As you can see right now, he is winning the units lost tab, but, I don't know. I just feel like... need to be expressed in walls of text for everyone to hear. Yeah, this is why we need that that emote, Sarah, the A-game wall of text.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't really been reading it, but, like, look at this.
We love A-game.
Oh, yes. Anyway, armor 1 done for letsrock now, so that's going to be nice for him. He does have a bit more of a critical mass building up in these assault chips, but I'd love to see SickIGN kind of stop trading into those assault chips, because, like, he can kind of abuse the fact that his opponent isn't really, like, exploiting the fact that he's, like, trading in kind of inefficiently here, but his opponent could definitely learn to do it. If he tries this against, like, let's say, Discara or something when he has assault chips, he's gonna die really hard, right? So, really, it's best when you see tech from your opponent to, like, counter the tech rather than just relying on, you know, brute force like this. This build is eerily similar, though. Double Sport Cruiser being built now. Again, he still hasn't made any railguns. He doesn't seem to want to deal with these assault chips here until he's got his bases set up here, so definitely running a bit of a default, I suppose you could say. He's got the money for Mag Excel, so I might actually just go for that right now. But he may go for the LEV upgrades first. Gonna pop this wreck open. That will put him up onto 2.5 base. He'll be moving to 3 soon. And letsrock, yes! Adapting nicely. Look at this. He's moving out onto his 3rd base. That's what I wanted to see from the last game. So it's as if he's, like, taking my tips, like, in real time. Even though these were obviously played, I think, like, last night. But... And Siege Cruiser Fab! Hey, this is exactly what I wanted to see him do. Alright. I like the adaptation here, then. So SickIGN gonna be up against something a little bit different this time. I'd like to see letsrock continue getting these armor upgrades, though. That was really good for him in the last game. He was able to take a lot of really nasty trades against his opponent that way. But at the moment, well, SickIGN doesn't have any rails yet. Letsrock could really push in here, actually, onto these LEVs, and that's what, like, armor 2 would be really, really nice for. Probe is gonna see it, so he knows that this is coming. But he does have that move order to go in, so it looks like he wants to do it. Looks like fleet capacity needs to be upgraded first. That's obviously very justifiable. You can justify that. And yeah, I would love to see Armored Unit Defenses 2 come out now, but at any rate, he wants to push on this main base. Looks like the railguns are going to have something to say about it, though, and they'll pretty much be on time. But Siege Cruiser tech is done, pretty much. Like, 5 seconds left on that. Yeah, assault chips are actually getting hit by the railguns, so he'll probably have to back away from this one. But even so, he's able to kill these LAVs here. And SickIGN just wants to push in on them. I don't know. This is looking kind of bad here. Oh, hey, it's SickIGN in the chat. Nice. Yeah, so he loses a lot of LAVs there, but he does at least push, hold off the push there. Carrier getting a little powered up, wants to push out, but it's always a little bit risky to do this if you don't have the rails with you, because then, you know, if you run into a bunch of Con of Siege, maybe you just die, right? So, by the way, letsrock floating quite a bit here, so I'd love to see him start building these. that's gotta be a salvager, right? Oh, was he? letsrock is like asking, or SickIGN is asking for games in chat while he's at work. That's pretty funny. MagXL on the queue here, gonna be finished in a moment. Still no AV tech, so this is where the siege cruisers really have their kind of reign of terror if they want to have it. But letsrock is still building salvagers, so I'd love to see that kind of siege. I think it'd be really powerful, and getting the EMP would be really nice too. But he can think about that later. For now, just having the unit would be really big for him. Range upgrade, of course, also kind of a must-have, so he needs to be thinking about that too. Oh, he said 0 out of 2. So, like, as in, you know, we can't actually do it. Railguns here, gonna start hitting the Space Runner. Smoke could be deployed from letsrock, this would be a very nice use case for it, but he will get the extract out probably, but there's no reason to risk it. Uh-oh! Oh, no! Oh. Oh. Yeah, I definitely should have smoked there, he would have been able to get that guy out. And SickIGN once again with a lot of railguns, a lot of LAVs, and he's getting Support Cruiser and Anti-Air now, probably going to pump out 2 more of those. There's a logistics module. I expect to see the cruisers on the queue any moment now. Looks like he definitely wants to make a push here onto his opponent's base. This time there's no air though, but we still don't have any kind of siege, do we? Oh no, he's building one now. Okay, that's good. He's got a lot of assault ships to defend for now though. If he gets up to this hill, he'll be in a kind of a nice position because the carrier can push them out, but the railguns are not going to be able to deal with that because obviously these guys are going to be close. And frankly, like, this carrier won't die to assault ships ever, of course. But, like, it can't just, you know, ignore them and, like, kill them because it's going to take forever. And in the meantime, that kind of siege is going to be coming. So here it is. First one is out. letsrock really just needs to build more of those. Probe from the SickIGN sees it as well, so he knows about the kind of siege cruiser. Yeah, you're right, A-Game. I've got to say, by the way, like, from SickIGN, we'd seen games from him before, and he never really looked terribly good. But this is, like, what he's doing right here. This is the starting of, like, a very good player. This is how players who eventually get very good at kind of the coalition, like, pressure you out of the game style get their start, right? So I'm really happy to see this. Oh, you mean letsrock? Ah, I see. Oh yeah, didn't Orb, like, play Con F before he switched to coalition? Assault ships, by the way, gonna trade in on the support cruiser. They will get it. I don't know if this is worth, though. Oh no, the focus fire. Okay, he is gonna get this one, right? Yeah. Bit of carrier blocking going on, though. He'll catch this railgun, too. But he's losing a lot of guys here. He doesn't need to push. His opponent kind of has the requirement to push here. He just needs to wait for Con of Siege and then win with, like, attrition and barrages and such, right? So I think this is a throw here, actually. I don't really like what he's doing. This support cruiser actually is going to get out, too, at 310 HP. That's very nice for him. But where's that Con of Siege? This guy's got to be in there barraging those railguns. That's kind of... That's the whole idea, right? Another artifact gets out, by the way, for SickIGN. That brings him to 3. There's another production cruiser. Ooh, I don't know. You've really just got to be getting Con of Siege at this point. By the way, look at the massive float from SickIGN, too. He's going to queue up a bunch of guys. This is a case for a production upgrade, right? Because obviously you're getting too much money, so you need to get another production line so that you can spend it all. letsrock is making more Con of Siege. That's what he needs. He's got quite a lot of RU here, but he's spending at least, so... But throwing those assault ships is really going to hurt him later on. This is not going to be good. One siege cruiser is out. Con of Carrier has some decent power. EMP, I think, would be really big here if he can, like, land some EMP hits on those railguns there. And then the assault ships, he should task a couple, yeah, exactly like this, to go down to this side and stop the extractions. But, Con of Siege going to start hitting on this carrier. And not in a romantic way. Ah, so you actually like that joke. Everyone else in chat thinks it's terrible.
It is terrible.
Where's the child? This siege cruiser here, though, not really where it wants to be. They both want to get, like, over the hill where they can barrage, and then if the rails get too close, they can chunk them in, like, one hit. It's crazy. Barrage does come out, though. It's going to get some pretty good damage here. Oh my gosh, it's going to get some shockingly good damage. The rails are prioritizing the carrier, though, and it may go down before there's enough time. Oh my gosh. One railgun survives, one more hit, it's gonna do it, and actually letsrock goes down here. But SickIGN playing that pretty close to the chest. I mean, he could have actually lost right there, but he is gonna win it though. Again, think about this though. What if letsrock had not thrown all those assault chips? What if he had sent like 4 of them, let's say, down to this side to like do backstabs, and then the rest of them were still waiting here? He might have just won the game right there. Yeah, the last railgun. This guy's a freaking commander. Look at that. Dang. Well, that is going to be SickIGN taking both of the games then. Nicely done. And this, I believe, pretty much cements the fact that he is going to move up into the, he's going to move up into the upper brackets. That's quite nice for him. As for letsrock, I'm not sure. I haven't watched the rest of the games from this, group, but I think he's playing pretty decently, but there's some things that I definitely think he could work on. Hopefully he'll learn that from the cast. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. We'll move on to the next one.